I'm having breakfast with Mary Lee. Yo-do-do-do-dee. I'm having breakfast with Mary Lee.
Hey there, Barry Lee reminding you, only $26 till Christmas. Can you believe it? Christmas week, the longest week in a kid's life. The Christmas spirit continues on the podcast. I'm going to chat with two more recipients of Chain of Checks grants, Juli Ferrell with Timber Ridge School and Jenny Callis with the Highland Food Pantry. Right now, though, your brain buster. Contrary to stereotypes, 74% of men today actually like doing this during the holidays. Like doing what? Is it A, Christmas shopping, B, watching Hallmark movies, or C, putting up the lights? I'll reveal the answer at the end of the podcast. Before we go to the interviews, and in the spirit of Christmas, a little story that was written by Mary Ann Matthews. True story. She says, Christmas comes at different times for me every year. Last year, Christmas happened while I was visiting my parents in Ohio. The day was frightfully cold with swirls of snow in the air, and I was looking out of the living room window of my folks' home, which faces St. Mary's Church. Workmen had just finished constructing the annual nativity scene in the churchyard when school let out for the day. Children gathered excitedly around the creche, but they didn't stay long. It was far too cold for lingering. All the kids hurried away, except for a tiny girl, probably about 6 years old. The wind lashed at her bare legs and caused her coat to fly open in the front, but she was oblivious of the weather. All her attention was riveted on the statues before her. Which one, I couldn't tell. Was it Mary? The baby? The animals? I wondered. And then I saw her remove her blue woolen headscarf. The wind quickly knotted her hair into a wild tangle, but she didn't seem to notice that either. She had only one thought. Lovingly, she wrapped her scarf around the statue of baby Jesus, and after she covered it, she patted the baby and then kissed it on the cheek. Satisfied, she skipped on down the street, her hair frosted with tiny diamonds of ice. Christmas had come once again. The Chain of Checks campaign is hoping to bring Christmas to 4 local nonprofits. Last week, we talked about the meal program for low-income seniors through the Godfrey Miller Center, and you're about to meet 2 more. Want to introduce another one of our recipients for Chain of Checks grants, Juli Ferrell. She's the Chief Development Officer with Timber Ridge School. Juli, good to connect with you.
Oh, so happy to be here, Barry.
So Timber Ridge School had a very special request for Chain of Checks funding, and before we talk about that request, just a word about the school.
Sure. So Timber Ridge is located in Cross Junction at the northwest corner of Frederick County, and we've been there for over 50 years. And we are an accredited middle and high school, but our real expertise is in residential treatment. And we serve boys who are 11 up to 21. The average age is about 15. So these are young men who haven't always made the best decisions. They may be behind in school, may have challenges with some mental health issues and substance abuse. And so they come, they stay with us 9 to 12 months and get caught up on school. They participate in counseling and AA or NA as required or needed, and help build back relationships with their families so that when they go home to their families and their communities, they are just in good shape and better than they were when they came to us.
So now, Juli, tell us about the specific Chain of Checks request.
This was specifically to help rebuild our sports program. Before COVID, we had a thriving football team, basketball, wrestling, track, and teams where our resident students would play with other private schools and historically some of the county schools in those sports. It kind of all got shut down with COVID. And so last fall in 2022, we started with basketball and wrestling over the winter and then track in the spring. We are one of the only residential treatment facilities in the state of Virginia that actually has interscholastic sports. So that's something that makes Timber Ridge unique. The other thing that is very important in reestablishing this is Research shows that interscholastic sports, team sports, has a very impactful change on the mental health of our students in particular who struggle with a variety of things. And some of the research has shown that sports can be as effective in helping some mental health issues like depression and anxiety as much as medicine does. So from a research side, that's fascinating. And one of the great things about combining and working with the whole student that Timber Ridge does. So rebuilding the program means buying shoes and uniforms and equipment. We added soccer. It's the first time in 13 years this fall that we had soccer, and we probably had 20 students who were part of that team. These young men don't necessarily get the chance in their home schools to have played. They may have done recreational soccer. A lot of them have not been on teams before. And the value of being a member of a team and the discipline that goes along with being an athlete and having to also keep your grades up and be a positive citizen at Timber Ridge School, all of those things just help make their lives better, our lives better as a school and as a community. And we couldn't be more grateful for the Chain of Checks to help us rebuild that program.
Well, Julie, you explained that beautifully, and Chain of Checks is happy to help out the youth there at Timber Ridge School. If we want to find out more about the school and its programs, what's the website?
It is timberridgeschool.org.
Simple enough. Well, we're looking forward to a great campaign and raising funds for this sports program at Timber Ridge School. Julie, thanks so much for what you do. Juli Ferrell is Chief Development Officer with Timber Ridge School, and Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you, Barry, and to all the folks that are involved in the Chain of Checks and all those folks that donate to the project. We appreciate it.
And before we go to Jenny Callis with the Highland Food Pantry, let's take a look at our podcast planner, nationaldaycalendar.com. Monday the 18th, it's Answer the Phone like Buddy the Elf Day. That's where you put your name in front of the sentence. For instance, Barry the Elf, what's your favorite color? Tuesday the 19th, it's National Hard Candy Day. By the way, in 2015, Jolly Rancher surpassed Werther's Original as the best-selling hard candy. Wednesday the 20th, it's Go Caroling Day, and the word carol means joyful song or dance. The 20th is also National Sangria Day, and I dare say that with enough sangria, you build up enough nerve to go door-to-door caroling. Thursday the 21st, winter arrives. It's the Winter Solstice, the shortest day and the longest night of the year. And with all that darkness, it's National Flashlight Day. Friday the 22nd, it's Forefathers Day, commemorating the landing of the Pilgrim Fathers in Plymouth, Massachusetts, December 1620. On Saturday the 23rd, it's Festivus for the rest of us, the hilarious Seinfeld episode from 1997, invented by Frank Costanza. You know, the aluminum pole, the air of grievances, feats of strength. And then on Sunday the 24th, it's Christmas Eve. Oh, I love Christmas Eve. When I was a kid, we would decorate our tree on Christmas Eve because it was a tradition that my mother had when she was a little girl. I can remember going out with my dad, watching him saw the bottom of the tree off to put into the stand so it could soak up the water. And I have to admit, I miss the smell of a fresh tree, but artificial trees are low maintenance. I mean, you don't have to water them. Basically, I just go out to the garage and with the leaf blower, just blow out the stink bugs and spiders, stuff like that. Oh, the 24th is also National Eggnog Day. All right, everybody scooch down, make room for our guest. It's great to reconnect with Jenny Callis, who is the Executive Director of the Highland Food Pantry. And Jenny, so good to hear your voice again.
Good morning. It's good to hear you too, Barry Lee.
Now, Highland Food Pantry, people automatically think of your wonderful outreach for those that are food insecure, but the clients that were coming to you for food brought to your attention something else they needed, and that's where the Chain of Checks grant is going. Maybe a word about the food pantry, and then we'll talk about that special request from your clients.
Great. Highland Food Pantry provides food and other assistance to those in need in our community, and we are located at 446 Highland Avenue. We use the basement of Highland Memorial Presbyterian Church, and this pantry has been here since the early 1980s. We are open on Tuesday mornings from 9 to 11:30. Then we open again from 6 to 7:30 on Tuesday night. Last week we served 140 families. In the month of November, 1 week we served 196 families. The one thing that our clients came to us and talked about, that they were very grateful for the food and the assistance we're able to give them, but one of the things that they really need is personal care items. Their food stamps cannot be used to buy soap, shampoo, toothpaste, toothbrushes, deodorant, those kinds of things. And, if we all stop to think about how much better we all feel when we've had a shower, washed our face, or brushed our teeth, everybody deserves to get to do that. And that's why we applied for the money to be able to purchase the personal care items.
You're so right, Jenny, that these are the things that we take for granted, but you make a good point that a lot of us that don't understand how food stamps work, that it wouldn't cover those items. So this fills a big, big void.
Right. It's a huge gift for people in our community. These are items that we would not be able to purchase ourselves, but we don't have an avenue to purchase them. And as we all know, they're expensive when you go to pick up personal care items. So the only way that we can afford them for our clients is through a grant like the Chain of Checks. And so this grant from Chain of Checks will allow us to have toothpaste and soap and shampoo for our clients. And Barry, sometimes people who travel and are in motels a lot, they'll save even those little travel small size shampoos and stuff. If you don't have any, all that makes a difference.
That's a good point, Jenny, so that if people have spare items or if they wanted to purchase new toothbrushes or deodorants, they could bring those right to the pantry to you?
Directly to the pantry. To receive things, we're here on Mondays from 9 to 1. And then on Tuesdays, we're here from 7 in the morning until about 8 at night to receive things.
And Jenny, before we go, if people want to find out more about the good works at Highland Food Pantry, a website and Facebook listing.
Our website is highlandpantrywink.org. Facebook.com is Highland Food Pantry. We also have an email at highlandpantrywink@gmail.com.
Well, Jenny, we're excited that the Chain of Checks grant can help your clients with these personal care items. And thanks so much for being with us on the podcast, and have a blessed Christmas.
Thank you so much, Barry, for interviewing us, for the Chain of Checks, helping us with this need. You guys are the best.
Oh, thank you, Jenny, so much. All right, before we go, let's see how you did on the Brain Buster. Contrary to stereotypes, 74% of men today actually like doing this during the holidays. What is it? A, Christmas shopping, B, watching Hallmark movies, or C, putting up the lights. And the answer, A, Christmas shopping. And a lot of those guys, I'm sure, are going to be out on Christmas Eve. I used to love doing my Christmas shopping on Christmas Eve. Anyway, pace yourself. Remember to be patient with your kids because they're going nuts counting down the days to Christmas. And in closing, I'd like to leave you this little quote from Jane Lee Logan. It's called Lessons from a Christmas Tree. Number 1, be a light in the darkness. Number 2, sparkle and twinkle as often as possible. And number 3, remember that it's okay to be a little tilted. Have a blessed week and back Christmas Day Monday.